He was desperate for a job. A single interview could change his life. But when he saw a dog trapped in the rain, he made a choice that risked everything. Subscribe to Minutes of Moral for more real-life stories that touch your heart and inspire your soul. Like, comment, and share, because every good deed finds its way back. David was at the edge. It had been 7 long months since he lost his job. What started as temporary turned into a downward spiral. Each day felt heavier than the last. His savings were gone, his fridge almost empty, and an eviction notice had been taped to his door just 2 days ago. But this morning, something was different. There was a spark of hope. He had finally landed a job interview. Not just any job, a position at a reputable tech firm, one that could put his life back on track. He wore his only clean shirt, a plain white one, slightly frayed at the collar. He had ironed it the night before using a borrowed iron from a neighbor. His shoes were old but polished, his face freshly shaved, and his resume folded neatly in a weathered folder. He glanced at the sky as he stepped outside. Gray clouds loomed overhead, threatening to pour at any moment. But even the gloomy weather couldn't dampen his determination. As he walked briskly, repeating his elevator pitch silently, his heart beat faster. Not from nerves, but from belief. Today could be the start of everything. But then, a soft, high-pitched sound. A whimper. He stopped, looked around. It was faint but unmistakable. He turned down a narrow alley and saw it. A tiny brown dog, maybe just a few months old, trapped under a fallen wooden fence. The rain had begun to fall, gently at first, then more steadily. The pup was soaked, shaking violently from the cold, its eyes wide with fear. David's breath caught. He checked his watch. He had 20 minutes to get to the interview. If he ran, he took a step back, torn. "Leave it. You don't have time," a voice in his head said. "This job could change everything. Someone else will help." But his feet didn't move. The sight of the dog, helpless and alone, felt too familiar. He remembered what it felt like to be overlooked, abandoned, left out in the cold. He made his choice. Without hesitation, David dropped to his knees and began pulling the splintered fence away, careful not to hurt the pup. "Easy. It's okay," he whispered, voice gentle despite the urgency. The dog whined but didn't resist. When the wood was clear, David reached in, wrapped the trembling animal in his jacket, and held it close to his chest. Rain soaked through his shirt and into his skin. His papers were ruined. His appearance, messy, wet, disheveled, no longer interview ready. But he didn't care. He ran, not toward the office, but toward the nearest animal clinic he could think of, 2 blocks away. Each step splashed through puddles, each second ticking against the hope he had clung to for weeks. Inside the clinic, the staff acted quickly. The vet, an older woman with kind eyes, smiled at him as they tended to the pup. "Good thing you brought him when you did. He was starting to get hypothermic." David exhaled in relief, but as the adrenaline faded, reality returned. He looked at the wall clock. He was 35 minutes late. The interview was over. He sank into the chair, soaked and silent, the weight of the lost opportunity crushing down. "I really needed that job," he whispered. The vet patted his shoulder. "Sometimes life gives you back more than you expect, just not when you expect it." The next morning, David sat at his table, a cracked second-hand thing he'd gotten from the street. He was sipping lukewarm instant coffee, mind foggy from stress and doubt. Then his phone rang. "Is this David Morales?" a calm voice asked. "Yes," he said cautiously. "I'm the hiring manager at Stratus Tech, the company you had an interview with yesterday." David's heart dropped. He opened his mouth to explain, but the woman continued. "One of our team members saw you in the alley. They watched the entire thing from the office window. They didn't know who you were at the time, until we saw your resume come through." David blinked. His throat tightened. "We saw a man in a white shirt running through the rain with a dog in his arms. You gave up your chance for that interview to save a life. That's the kind of person we want in our company. The job is yours, if you still want it." His eyes welled with tears. I do want it. More than anything." Weeks later, David sat at a polished desk, his name on a plaque. Across from him, the same staff member who saw him in the rain gave him a thumbs up. He had a steady income now and a quiet apartment. No more eviction notices, no more rationing food. But the best part? The little pup he had saved, now named Chance, sat under his desk every day, tail wagging. Life lesson? Sometimes doing the right thing feels like a sacrifice, but kindness has a way of circling back in ways we never imagined. David's story isn't just about saving a dog. It's about staying true to your values, even when the world is telling you to walk away. Because character isn't built in comfort, it's revealed in crisis. Would you risk your shot at a better life to help someone or something in need? Let us know in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe to Minutes of Moral, because stories like these, they remind us what it truly means to be human.